Welcome to Dare, the show for startup leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs who dare to shape the future. Dare is brought to you by the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network, OEN, and Darwaft, the superpower tech team that can make your vision a reality. The Dare podcast is excited to welcome Calvin Gower to the show. He's the CEO and founder of Stiira, which is a Portland-based SaaS company that focuses on government-regulated leaves. And they have some interesting solutions to simplify this area that can often be very, very complex. So they have some great software and solutions that can serve, I think, any size company. We're going to learn more from Calvin today. So welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, well, first of all, could you tell us how you launched?
Well, I guess I'll go back to about 6 years ago. So I was working at an HR outsourcing organization, offering services to clients nationwide, all different sizes, industries, needs. We offered, all kinds of HR consulting and outsourcing models. So from payroll to benefits administration, and we launched leave outsourcing in 2019. And with that timing, COVID hit right after we launched that, and it actually became our quickest growing service at the time. So it just started booming. When COVID hit, there was newly introduced leave regulations on the federal level, and that paired on top of the already existing FMLA and ADA and the trend of state regulations creating all these complications for employers.
Yeah.
So at that time, we basically went out to look for a solution because we were like, this is our fastest growing service. We need something that can support this model. And what we found was there was really just two legacy players in the market, really focused on the enterprise level employers, way overpriced for mid-market, and nothing specifically built for that third-party administrator or outsourcing model. So we had at the time in-house software that was really like a Swiss Army knife of sorts that supported all our different services on the technology side. And we stripped that down, made it a specialized leave management solution to really support that model. And we eventually, after incubating it for a couple years, spun off and went to market back in February of 2023.
Well, that's exciting. What's the uptake been like so far?
Yeah, so it was very eventful first 2 years for us.
Really?
And what we found was the trends that were impacting this industry were, it was really crazy to get a full grasp on that. And really it came down to, employers out there were experiencing a huge uptick in leave requests. This became much more visible to employees as well. So I think it was about 60% increase year over year on leave requests. And there was also this multi-state compliance element that came to play. So with COVID hitting, that distributed workforce, if you were an employer managing just employees in Oregon, suddenly that became Oregon, Washington, California, New York. So we really found a lot of traction with those mid-market employers really looking to support something that's more adaptable. So that multi-state compliance, being able to shift policies and really support growth, and also their ever evolving needs that were driven by compliance. We also have found a lot of traction on the TPA side. So those HR outsourcing models, partnering with anyone from HR consulting firms to smaller PEOs to even talking to benefit brokers looking to launch services. So that's been a huge focus for us. Is we specialize this tool for that side of the market. And so seeing that both the insourcing and outsourcing models is something that we can support has really kind of validated what we knew when we went to look at what was currently in the market before.
Well, tell us more about what's in the market and how you guys stand out. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing that's unique and different?
Yeah. So, I mean, you have your two legacy players, Apps and Soft and Coursera. Those are the big names out there. They've been around for some time. And what they do well is a fully automated compliance engine. They're big and robust systems, but what they don't have is the kind of new age flexibility and adaptability that's needed. So we had the benefit of building our product and launching our product at a completely different stage of the compliance landscape and, the workforce trends that were taking place.
Mhm.
So for us, our big differentiators are one, that TPA focused solution. So our architecture allows you to manage clients much easier. And that trickles down to even employers that are managing in-house. So there's a lot more flexibility on managing subgroups or different role configurations and even policies at a company level. That really makes our system much more adaptable and customizable in that. I think the two other main things would be, we focus a lot on front end configuration.
Mhm.
So we knew right off the bat, we haven't been around for 10 years. It takes time to build up this automated compliance engine. So what we do is put more power in our administrators' hands, with our customers to have more control over the shifting policies. So we not only support them with the compliance pieces built in, but they can also adapt the system quickly, if a shifting company policy or a new city or municipal regulation comes into play for them, they can actually build out and manage those with just a few clicks by using that front end configuration. So that adaptability, that flexibility is really big. And then for us, focusing on integrations. So the big HRIS and payroll systems out there, some of them have add-on modules for this, but we know that doesn't solve the modern day needs of employers out there. So in the HR space, it's notorious for, difficult systems to use that may not work well with each other. So what we're doing is tackling, the top 10 HRIS and payroll systems out there and making our solution the most integrated solution on the market. And that means exploring all verticals in that realm, which isn't really a priority for the other players out there right now. So we know that we can automate and make that kind of HR tech stack seamless for our clients by prioritizing that piece.
Right. So you've taken kind of a different angle on the HR software space by saying you're going to integrate, you're going to be open, you're going to provide a solution that works in a friendly way with existing systems rather than trying to build your own kind of silo, right?
Yeah, our solution is great as a specialized standalone solution, but the reality is that you need everything to work seamlessly, especially when it comes to employees' information, on the benefits, leave, and payroll front, especially. And that also adds to like the employee experience as well. So we knew that we needed a solution that solved a problem for administrators, but they're dealing with employees that are, going through probably difficult or stressful times. So how do we simplify that as much as possible for all stakeholders involved? So that's been a major focus for us as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned that coming out of the pandemic, people had different complexities to deal with. Could you spell those out a little bit more? What were people dealing with that was different prior to the pandemic?
Yeah, so I think the newly introduced laws at the federal level, basically people were suddenly like, I need to take leave, for COVID related incidents, like if it was personal or for family members. And when that happened, basically it brought this unforeseen benefit to the forefront for the entire workforce, essentially. And so now you had employees understanding, their what they have rights to on the benefits front, such as paid leave in all these, 13 to 15 states now. And they also knew that basically they needed those managed. So employers were really looking to find a solution that would support this piece. And then the distributed workforce, everyone went remote during COVID. So, suddenly you had to account for 6, 7 state laws, even, municipal laws, especially in like states like New York or California. And really that multi-state compliance blew this up. And administrators are basically managing a legal function, and it's very difficult to navigate. So the multi-state compliance, the increase in leave volume really just amplified that burden on the administrative side and really made this more of a pain point for employers. So there's a lot more leadership buy-in, putting more budget into like the transformation of digital HR solutions, which, as an industry, HR usually trails a little bit behind, on the technology front compared to some others out there.
Hmm. So are your principal customers actually workers or are they actually employers?
So they're employers.
Yeah.
So it's the HR teams at companies managing this in-house, and then the outsourcing models. So those offering services to those companies. So the insourcing and outsourcing shifts constantly, between like 40 and 60 in the market. Really who we're serving is the HR teams and adding that layer of an enhanced experience for the employees along the way. But you did mention, other roles as well would be we really focus on the middle ground support roles. So these employers that are taking on all this new responsibility, they need more collaboration tools. So we have additional role configurations in the system for like supervisors and other representatives that makes visibility a big piece and also eliminates the need for administrators to, send emails or send reports or any other updates to these other team members because now they have access to that information all in one system.
Right, right. So it's kind of a one-stop shop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've gotten a lot of traction, you've had a lot of interest. Where do you go from here?
Yeah. So for us, looking into the future, it's really about executing on our growth strategy and really focusing on right now the mid-market employers and those third-party administrator partnerships and also industries that, are looking and needing this solution. So there's actually industries out there like public sector, retail, education that 90% of them manage this in-house. So it's really trying to address those needs and gaps because right now, if you're not an enterprise level employer, a very large organization, you can't afford the solution that are out there, the major ones at least. And so what we're doing is making sure we can make this kind of robust functionality accessible to the areas of the market that currently don't have the right solution in place.
Right, right. Okay. So I got what you've built to date, where you're
Mhm.
going. What do you have in terms of your team and in terms of your product? And is this generally available? Can I like go up to Stiira.com website and start using it or tell me more?
Yeah. So you can go to the website, request a demo. So for us, usually that process is, we meet with initial demo. We try to be as transparent as possible, which I think is very rare in this space. So, your first call, you're getting a full 30-minute demo of the system. We also list pricing right on our website, which you could go out there. It's so difficult to get pricing. And it's like that's the first layer you want to look at. It's like, can we afford this solution? Does it make sense for us? So that transparency piece is big for us every step of the way. And as far as where the product is at and our team, we are a small and growing team. We have our current members are mostly with the product since the beginning. So
Mhm.
that's been a really enjoyable process for us because, we got to build, market, and sell this product together from the start. And we were working with, HR partners every step of the way in the beginning. So, as far as our team goes, I think we have a very unique perspective and approach that is ultimately influencing the way that we do things differently, whether it's that transparency piece or how the product is built. And it's a unique team and culture, I think, in the technology space that really shines, I think, to our existing customers and the prospects we meet with. We're always hearing that this is refreshing. This product's different. You all are different. And that's nice to hear because that's something we're very intentional about.
Oh, that's fantastic. So how big is your team now or how big is your company?
We have just under 10 team members right now. We do have outsourcing partners as well. We will be growing a bit more over the coming years. And right now, it's really about when we're doing a seed round raise right now to kind of give us the fuel to reach that next level.
Okay.
And for us, that's going to be putting a lot of effort into the development resources to build out a more robust compliance engine and support that front end configuration model that we're really trying to solidify as our unique approach. And then also, I think the big piece for us in the future, besides, sales and marketing and all that, is, the customer experience. So that's going to be a huge piece for us as we build in the future, because we do want to put a lot of value on setting our customers up for success, whether that's the implementation as a whole, the training, or even the ongoing support. So it's going to be a major focus for us.
Fantastic. So you're in the middle of raising a seed round. How are you funded to date, and what does that seed round look like for you in terms of the cycle of raising?
Yeah. So to date, we've relied on angel investors as we picked up traction. Now we're starting to stabilize more as a business, and the remaining raise, talking to various angel groups out there and some venture capital firms as well. The initial raise right now is for 1 million, and it's really to give us that fuel on the development front to essentially speed up in about a year what those legacy players have been able to build over 10 years. So we're gonna be raising to do that our way and make sure that we can basically start to offer this more affordable and robust product even to the lower enterprise level and start to swim upstream a bit.
Fantastic. So you'll get bigger and bolder and take some big swings.
Yeah, yep, that's the plan.
Great. So you've grown this team over time, and as you raise, you'll be growing again, I assume, as you said that those additional funds will help you to scale further. So what makes a person or a team member a good fit at this stage of a startup?
Yeah. Well, I feel very lucky because I most of my career before this was working side by side with HR professionals. And not to mention, a startup environment. I think was the fourth employee at our previous HR outsourcing firm that I was working at. And so I've really had great mentors when it comes to building teams and kind of use cases with that, whether it's building out new departments or launching new products. And from the HR side of things, there's so much value on like how does someone fit into your team and culture. And we're obviously going to look at skills and experience and what is needed to fill gaps. But experience can be learned or achieved over time, and skills can be taught. And really beyond that, it's how does that dynamic work with our team? And I don't know if you've heard the DISC assessment. So there's like four categories, like there's a dominance, an influencer, conscientious, and the support realm too. So that was a big thing for us in the HR world. And I try to apply that even on a technology company. So like looking at just like our three founding team members, where I'm a solid D, where I want to move things forward, make decisions, and I base things off achievement, where our head of development is more in that C realm. So he's a thinker, he wants to be prepared, he wants to understand the process to get there. And head of sales, he's in the I section, so he's driven based off people and relationships and those different aspects. So as we hire and grow, it's understanding how is this new team member going to work in relation to the role and the other team members that already exist in our organization. And so understanding those dynamics and how we can diversify our team in that way is very important to us.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. So, what do you dare to dream, Calvin?
Yeah, that's the big question. And, I think for me as a whole, and I can kind of relate it to what, my career has been so far, and that is really trying to develop solutions for complex problems. I think the world as a whole and life as a whole is very difficult. There's always going to be unknowns and challenges. And it's really hard when you come up on something that is so complex that it just derails you. And so, whether it's with Stiira or beyond in my life as a whole, is I really want to leave an impact where I am providing a sense of peace or a soothing experience or relieving stress when it doesn't necessarily have to be there, and making that accessible to everyone. because just because you have, more money or you've been more successful in some other way, doesn't mean that should be the dependency for having that peace of mind and having simplified solutions to your problems. So that's really what I hope to achieve, with my life and kind of the overarching dream for me.
That's a great dream. Thanks for sharing it with us, Calvin.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the conversation today, and I wish you all the best at Stiira.
Thanks, Ted. It's been great being here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to our guests today for their insights into the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We wish you all the best in your startup journey. The Dare Show is brought to you by the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network and by Darwaf, the superpower tech team that can make your vision a reality. Visit us at oen.org or at darwaf.io. Thanks again for listening. Till next time.